Hail to the king, baby. What's going on, guys? It's me. It's Michael B. I just had to make sure my microphone was actually working. I was a little bit concerned it wouldn't. For those of you tuning in who didn't tune in all yesterday, you may notice something a little bit different about me. That's because I'm coming to you without facial hair. This is the first time in like 5 years now I've gone without facial hair. I think the last time I actually shaved my facial hair this short was right at the start of the pandemic. There was a rumor about beards causing like catching some of the stuff or something like that. So anyways, I shaved it off and my daughter hated it and my wife hated it. So I haven't done it since, but yesterday seeing all the support and love going towards our Steve Sale, Give Steve his smile back, GoFundMe streamathon we did yesterday, and especially after Chaotic BPR made the sacrifice of shaving his head. Of course, I wanted to throw it up. I would shave off my beard if we hit $10,000, donated overall for the GoFundMe. P-Dubs also jumped in on the fund. So both of us, like idiots, now have to go around like this with no facial hair for a couple days. And yeah, it's something. My wife was very, very mad. My daughter refused to talk to me when she came home from school, which was the first time she noticed me shave. My son, he was like, it's dead. I don't care. But anyways, I probably look like some kind of weird mongoloid. I apologize, everybody. Don't worry. The beard will be back someday relatively soon in the future. So anyways, guys, it's Monday. You know what that means. Time for another episode of Chill and Chat with Michael B. And on tonight's episode, we've got some fun stuff to talk about. We're going to talk about Iconic Arcade. We recently got some updates about Iconic Arcade and in my opinion, a very necessary one, which is a communication directly to the pre-order holders. So we'll talk a little bit about that and a little bit about how Iconic keeps making missteps in the way they're communicating and in the way the company is putting out information for their products. So I do want to talk about that a little bit. I also wanted to talk about, of course, Unico is now putting up pre-orders for their Raiden Nova Blast. So I want to talk about that and the surprise from some people on the price and whether or not we actually should be surprised by that. And then last but not least, there's two other things I wanted to talk about. A couple other news pieces we'll cover throughout the night as well, because, I'm not limited just to my thumbnail. But the big things I wanted to talk about, of course, the big news coming out of Analogue today, they're releasing more Analogue 3Ds. So another batch of pre-orders go live on the 10th. Yeah, I think it's Wednesday the 10th when the next pre-orders go live, and they've now launched a whole Funtastic color line, which we will talk about. People on the internet are so mad about this, but this is Analogue to a T, so I don't think anybody should really be surprised by this move. And of course, the thing that I'm most excited about coming out next year, which I'm sure many people will be surprised to see, and that is not a home arcade product, but the Steam machine. So we'll talk a little bit about the pricing, how that's going to work, and I'll tell you a little bit about why I'm hesitant, but also why I'm kind of excited. Anyways, before we get too deep in the weeds of everything, I want to say hello to the people here in the chat. Thank you all very much for joining me. If you're not sick of me already, I mean, I streamed so much this past weekend for the streamathon. Figured you guys would be tired of me by now, but yeah. So anyways, thank you so much for being here. Looks like ads will run shortly for some viewers in about 50 seconds. So I apologize. If you miss your shout out, let me know. I will shout you out again due to the ads. You can get your very own companion cube. There you go. Bill's Retro Gaming Show. Good to see you. We've also got Unchained 81. I'm here for the free food buffet. I don't know who told you there was going to be free food. Definitely not. Video Game Vegas, Steam Machine, FTW, good to see you. Gabriel Gray, good to see you as well. Little Alien, best moderator in the business. Thank you very much for being here. Midlife Arcade, always a pleasure to see you, my man. Duke Dog. Duke Dog was the big winner the other night. What show was that? I'm trying to remember now. Everything's like a blur. I'm so friggin' tired. J-Rod's here. Good to see you. Jim Jimerson says, what up? I'm stoked for 150 off my $6.99 Iconic Arcade. Not a bad deal, right? Sir Sega, not bad. Little Alien. Who else we got? B. Kirby, the Chicago Arcade guy. What's up? Jason Little Alien. Good to see you, B. Kirby. Who else we got here? JJ, you look younger. Now just get some Just for Men and you'll look even younger and your wife won't mind the beard. Nah, man, I did do the whole dye my beard one time, and man, people gave me such shit about it. There's so many critical people on the internet, man. You look better, Elio says. Thank you very much, man. I don't feel better. I feel crazy. Need to go fund your beard. Nah, I don't think we'll be doing that. Bill's Retro Gaming Show, one of the people who helped out with the big Steve Sale fundraiser yesterday. Thank you very much. Bill's Retro Gaming Show. Didn't drink quite as much as James, but of course, he's professional Bill, held himself to a higher standard. It's young Mike, Novasonic says. There you go. Steve Sale. Good to see you, Steve. Rest up, buddy. Best wishes. Check his ID. Yeah, I think the gray hair will get me past that. Devastator Omega. Whoa. Who is this guy? I know, right? MSU Rich. Good to see you, my man. Is my audio off versus the video? Usually, I don't know what the fuck is going on with StreamYard, but it's always a problem. This looks like an AI version of Mike. Yeah, 100%. Thanks for being here, Neo. Mikey Smooth. I got a little bit of scruff there. I'm waiting for this beard to grow back in. There you go. Nooner, good to see you. Kurt the Daring. Today, the B in Michael B stands for Babyface. There you go. Elio37. Mike Hawk Hurts. Any sign of new WWE LJNs, Michael? I haven't spotted any yet, but I've been looking. Oh, I will tell you, I have never been so frustrated with a Target exclusive product in my entire life. I finally found a ray of hope because we don't have Target here in Canada, that they were going to be selling them on WWEshop.com on Black Friday. So like an idiot, I went there and they were having all kinds of sales and stuff. Of course, the WWE LJN rubber wrestling figures were not included in the Black Friday sale. And they were expensive too, man. It was like $50 for one wrestler. And that's where it gets even more frustrating. There were only two available, Hogan and Logan Paul. And by the time I got around to actually ordering Hogan, he was gone. He was sold out. So the only option was Logan Paul. So I'm still Snake Eyes here in Canada for the WWE LJN figures. Burnt Oranges is here. Good to see you, my man. I think we said hello to Sir Sega already. John Fritz, good to see you. The Real Zim, get in there, Zim. Good to see you as well, my man. Dread Train, hi, y'all. Good to see you. Stock Jock is here. My man, Stock Jock, MVP of yesterday's shenanigans. Thank you very much, Stock Jock. Who else do we got? I think we might be caught up to everybody. We've got Brian G, 5150. Howdy to you too, Brian G. Retro Ron, thanks for the stream, Michael B. No, thank you for watching. Like I said, I've been on way too much. I was wondering if I was pushing it tonight. So thank you so much for coming back. Thumper Squid, hello, wonderful gamers. Hello, wonderful Thumper Squid. Thanks for being here. Then we're going to go back down and see if we missed anybody that chimed in a little bit late. Chaotic BPR, hope you're doing well. Michael B, I'm listening while playing Metroid Prime 4. Brian, who killed it yesterday, shaved his head for the stream, raising over $500. Brian, you're a badass, man. Thank you so much for doing that. 19K Fox is in the chat. He joined us last night for the wrap-up show. 19K Fox, all-around awesome guy. Thanks for being here, Fox. Jay Shellman, even though I've got it right, I know I probably just got it wrong there, and I'm so sorry. It's Baby Bottom Mike. Yeah, that's how I feel. I feel like an ass face. There you go. Israel Gaming, good to see you. Mad Dog, MDG, handsome gent. Oh, well, thank you very much. I don't feel it. I'll tell you that. Chris Ford is here. Good to see you, my man. I was told there would be cake. No, someone lied to you, so there you go. What's going on, Michael B? Good to see you, Alan Jones. And I think that is everybody. If I missed anybody, you didn't get your shout out, I apologize. I will make it up to you by giving you a virtual high five. So there you go. I don't know, JT. I never know what I'm doing with this show for sure. The cake is a lie. That is the truth. That's the only truth you'll hear tonight. So anyways, guys, let's get started and let's talk about probably the biggest news that came out in the last couple days. So we heard from the show Arcade Insiders there a couple of weeks ago. There was a video that was pre-recorded from John D where he talked about there was going to be an additional delay from Iconic Arcade. The Iconic Arcade wasn't going to make it in time for Christmas. So what they were going to do was they were going to make it up to people by offering a $150 off rebate off your original pre-order. And that was really good news. So no problem with that. I mean, if you're going to do a delay, something like that is certainly a good, I don't know what the right term is for you. That's a good concession to make. That's a concession a lot of other companies wouldn't make. I mean, Analogue didn't offer anything back. So, I mean, it's obviously something you don't always see. So good on Iconic for doing that, and also for taking the hit on the chin and obviously sending back their golden sample or whatever you want to call it, knowing that it didn't meet their standards and they want a better product. I think that's the right call too. So I didn't really have any negativity around the delay. It sucks. And if there's another delay, we're going to have a different conversation, obviously. But I think what they did with this issue definitely made up for a lot of the stuff going on for pre-order holders. So I will give them credit for that. The thing that's a little bit weird is how the message was communicated. So you can see in my poll right now, I've got a message up because this has kind of been probably the biggest knock on Iconic Arcade for the last year. It's the lack of communication, the lack of updating, the lack of keeping pre-order holders abreast of what's going on, the lack of keeping the general consumer abreast of what's going on with the company. This is something we've heard time and time again. When there was rumors about a potential cease and desist and the company went dead silent for what felt like 6 months to delay after delay, the question is, has Iconic done a very good job communicating with its pre-order holders and with the overall general community? And, the prognosis for most people is no, they haven't done a very good job. So the question is, if you're a home arcade company, who is it important for you to get your information out to and where? So your choices are general consumer, via website and social media. That means your official social media channels, whether you have a Twitter, whether you have, or X now, whatever it's called, whether you have a Facebook account, whether you have an Instagram, TikTok, however you do your social media along that line. The other one is to the distributor, seller, to relays. So this is a little bit of a weird one. We're noticing this with Spreetail, where Spreetail is really the purveyor of a lot of the information coming for Iconic and some other companies now as well. Is it important for Spreetail to have the information and then to be responsible for relaying that to people that are interested in the product and to pre-order holders? Then we'll go down to YouTubers, influencers to relay. Is that the main focus? Should you send your information out to YouTubers, to social media influencers? Who should really have to say about this? And then the last choice, of course, is a mix of all the above, which is kind of like an all points reach to go out. There was also another option that I wanted to put in there that I probably should have put in there over the mix of all the above. And that one is communication directly to your pre-order holders, because realistically, I would assume they're the most important people. Like if I'm a pre-order holder for Iconic Arcade or for a Kickstarter or even for New Wave Toys on a bunch of their pre-orders, I would think as a pre-order holder, I'm going to hear it first before anybody else, with a direct communication to the way I purchased it, whether that's an email from the vendor, whatever it is, that's how you're going to relay it to me. I think all of those things are really frigging important. So I want you guys to chime in the votes. The poll went up 51 minutes ago. We've already got 70 votes, and it's really interesting to see your guys' take on all of this. Spreetail said Basic Fun lost TMNT. Wrong. Spreetail said December 12th delivery. Wrong. Yeah, I don't know where Spreetail said that Basic Fun lost TMNT. I'm not familiar with that one. That might have been on an episode I didn't watch. But they definitely did say the December 12th delivery. And I think everybody from Spreetail's side and Iconic side, from what I understand, I talked to Kevin a little bit about it a while back, and he told them that was it. That was, the drop dead date. So I think that's why Iconic went above and beyond to make things right, because I think Spreetail was really pushing them that if they didn't meet that date, they were going to maybe pull out of the arrangement, or I don't know. I'm only, speculating here, but at the end of the day, the pre-order holders should get the $150 off. So happy to see that. Anyways, guys, back to the main news. And this is what I wanted to talk about. So, of course, you go back to the episode of the Arcade Insiders, and of course, John did the video, but then the feedback kind of came out. Why was this video on a particular show? Now, I don't have any problem with that. I mean, companies can work with whoever they want to work with. It's always like that. I have my own mindset of how companies should do things. I think companies should operate more like Zen Studios, Pinball FX, how they do things. What Zen Studios does is they have a press section directly on their website where you can go get PNGs, information, videos. I think that's always the best way to do it. I don't care if they want to give information to certain content creators or YouTubers, whatever you want to call them. If they want to give that information to people first, they can. But it's important that you put all your assets out there, because the way the company grows and the way that information gets out there and gets to as many people as possible is that you make it accessible for anybody who wants to talk about it, and you give them the tools and the assets to do so. That's one thing I've always liked about Pinball FX, and it's something I pushed when I used to talk to John more regularly, push for Iconic Arcade to do, and I push for any company to do. But with that video, they gave it to the Arcade Insiders, which is fine. But then there was no further communication from Iconic Arcade to the rest of the pre-order holders or community. In fact, the bag was kind of then left on Spreetail's hands in order for Spreetail to send out an email to notify the pre-order holders about what was going on. And due to some internal, mistakes inside Spreetail, that email never got out until just, when was it? Just yesterday or earlier today, that email actually went out to people where they did get their $150 rebate. And obviously that holdback is a big issue. So the thing is, the video did go outside the show Arcade Insiders, but I want to show you where this news came from very specifically. So I'm going to bring it up on page here now. And I'm making very clear about this. It's a question of appropriateness, and that's what I want to talk about. So, tire screen, I just want to bring this up. So, the video was shared to various Facebook groups, but it was actually shared from Neo Geo 64, who Paul, who's here in the chat, and Paul, one of the hosts of Arcade Insiders. And while I think it's great that that information did get relayed outside the show and trying to get it to public sources where people would take it, I just feel bad for Paul. Paul doesn't work for Iconic Arcade. Paul doesn't work for Spreetail. Why is it his responsibility to put this information out? I know he's doing it because there's a benefit to his show, and it'll hopefully get people to trust him and people to go watch his show. But this is absolutely the responsibility of Iconic Arcade to make sure this message is relayed on whatever official channels they have, not independent people. Think about how you would feel if you saw me, for example, relaying official Arcade 1-Up news. You'd say the exact same thing. Why isn't Arcade 1-Up doing this? So anyways, not shitting on Paul. I think Paul's being put in a bad situation. This 100% should have been posted by either somebody who does PR for Iconic Arcade or somebody that does PR for Spreetail, not Paul, because he's not getting paid. He's volunteering to do this because of his connection through the show. And then we will get another update here where the email did go out, and again, it's posted on the Iconic Arcade Facebook page, but again, it's coming from Paul, not from someone that represents Iconic, Lenovo, or not someone that represents Spreetail. So to me, this just seems like a bad breakdown in communication. I again applaud Paul for trying to get this information out there, but the question is it appropriate? Is it a good look for the company? So then we'll go to Iconic Arcade's website. And I got to hide this. It always comes up and shows on the screen. This is how bad it is. They have an official website, which the videos never changed. And I know why that is, because they paid Mason Conrad money to do the original splash screen video for the Iconic Arcade website. But if you go into it, it's the same splash screen with the same outdated cabs, same outdated art, no new information. But you go down here, and they actually did put up an update saying Street Fighter XT Arcade Machine released now targeting Q4 2025. So there was an update, but unfortunately, it was an update from the October delay, not the most recent delay. The website still hasn't been updated. Nothing official from the actual company. Then if you actually go into the website, like I said, everything's out of date. You take a look at these pictures, that's the old artwork, that's the old cab shape. None of the changes are reflected. The new names aren't reflected. And again, I get it. It's a money thing. It's a marketing thing. You got to pay Mason to update your splash screen video, all that stuff. But if this is Lenovo and this is a huge company, why aren't you doing this? Thank you, Mike of all trades, 100%. And again, Paul, like I'm talking about here, it's completely inappropriate that they are leaning on you so heavily to get their information out when that's not your job. It's 100% their job to update their website. It's their job to put out official press releases. And then if they're not going to do it directly and they're going to rely heavily on Kevin and Spreetail, I mean, I don't think that's fair on Spreetail. I mean, they're all apart and they're all working together on this. I understand that. But then again, these messages should come directly from Iconic. And I have to question whether or not the community looking at this and pre-order holders are saying, what the hell's going on? Why am I not getting my information directly from the company whose product I bought? 19K Fox says, I doubt Lenovo will back this product for much longer. Simple explanation to the site not being updated. It's the same people that fix potholes on the roads. It'll eventually get done between now and 2099. Overall, it's just a really weird situation. It's putting, honestly, the show, The Arcade Insiders, and it's putting Spreetail and Neo in a bad spot to really be pulling up the slack for something that should be done by completely somebody else, in my opinion. Use your official, media channels, social media, whatever you got to do, put out your own messaging. I understand that obviously you have a close relationship with Spreetail. and that you want to give them information, there's no problem with that. You can give the arcade insiders, advance notice. They can get the news about Iconic first, but that doesn't mean that's where the news ends. You have to assume not everybody's going to watch them. Not everybody's going to watch me that will report on it, or not everybody's going to watch the other YouTubers that might report on this. Most people don't even give a shit about YouTubers and their reviews. You're going to go to the website. They're going to go to your official social media. They're going to want to see something official from you. Until it's official, it's not really official. Let me have a sip of coffee here. Garage Gamer, thank you very much. Greatly appreciate it. Lenovo might have an investment, but these are not Lenovo products to the best of my knowledge. So anyways, guys, I will take down the screen for a second, and I feel really bad about this whole situation. Like, honestly, I think Iconic is trying to do the right thing. They're trying to get the product out, but they're obviously missing so many things. And one of the biggest problems, going back to the whole dead silence when, quote unquote, the whole cease and desist was going on, was their lack of communication. I understand why there's a lack of communication. Obviously, John D is viewed as a polarizing subject or polarizing individual in the home arcade space. He doesn't want to be upfront and represent this product, but that's why you go out and you hire PR firms like your buddy David McIntosh, Arcade PR. I mean, David could have came on, done a quick video, put some social media ads up for you about this stuff. I don't know if it's a money thing. I don't know what the issue is, but you already have a problem with communication throughout the year, with products being delayed, questions about communication, to then rely so heavily, put blame on other people. Like Kevin was explaining, oh man, it's completely my fault. I didn't realize this person was out of office. No, Kevin, it's not your fault. I understand that you're involved in it, but honestly, this information should be on the website, should be from their official pages. Do better, Iconic Arcade. You have what could be a really good product here. A lot of people want bigger size arcades. You're doing cool things, Street Fighter, Double Dragon in the future. Your company is only as good as you represent it. And right now, you're not representing it well by not communicating, by not putting this information up on your official channels. Anyways, that's just my opinion. No, the monitor isn't a BOE. What Iconic Arcade is doing is I don't know the exact reason for this, but there's additional cost and sometimes supply chain issues with BOE. I mean, BOE is only one company. So, and when you say BOE, that's a brand. What they are 4x3 IPS monitors. Not a lot of people make 4x3 or 5x4, those rectangle, smaller IPS monitors. So what they're actually doing is they're using a Lenovo branded monitor that is in fact an IPS monitor, but it's 16:9, and they're hiding a bunch of it behind the bezel. We have no idea about the quality of the screen from the images they've already shared. I mean, it looks good. There was some question about light bleed behind the bezel. That seems to be taken care of. I think, again, I don't want to get caught off this stuff, but I do want to be honest here. I think right now, I think Iconic, one of the biggest areas they're failing, other than, on failing to meet deadlines when it comes to shipping out the orders, which might be out of their control, something that's totally in their control and there's no reason for them not doing, is communicating. They've got to communicate better. They've got to update their website. They've got to get their social media channels up and running. They have to be responsible for their product. They can't rely on other people be the sole message bearers for their product. They can't rely on Paul to be putting, posts up on their Iconic Arcade Facebook page or on other people's Facebook pages. I mean, that's not Paul's responsibility. And then to rely 100% on Spreetail to send out these notices of an official announcement from Iconic Arcade. Sure, Spreetail is a partner. They're the ones that bought the units. They're the ones selling it. They're the ones running the pre-order. So yeah, they should send out those emails to people, but maybe there was a step that was missed because 2 weeks go by, someone was at office, that shit happens, but there's no reason Iconic couldn't have put this messaging up somewhere else in the meantime for the people that didn't watch the show, for the people that don't watch YouTube and are wondering what the fuck is going on with their pre-orders. Yeah, Facebook might not be the avenue. Garage Gamer, me and you talk mostly on Twitter, where I send you updated Xbox controllers, which you've bought like almost every single one. I had to back out, so there you go. So, anyways, guys, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about with Iconic. I think it's great that Spreetail did eventually get the messaging out. They did get that notice out. I know several people held on to the pre-orders. They, responded back, took the $150 discount. I think they handled that situation very well for the most upcoming delay, giving the $150 back. You guys that paid $6.99 are only paying $5.49 for your cabs. That's badass. I'm so happy for you guys. I think that situation was handled well, but the messaging is all messed up. I think that it's inappropriate that such reliance was put on Paul to go put these messages up on Facebook to share it through his sources. I think it was inappropriate to just rely on Spreetail to send that email out. I think Iconic needs to do a better job of advertising their own product and doing public communications for their own product. That's why I'm saying maybe it's a money thing. That's the only thing I could think of, is that they just don't want to spend the money on the advertising to change the splash screen or to do website updates. I don't know, man, but honestly, no one's going to take the product seriously if you don't represent yourself seriously. So that's all I'll say on that. Anyways, that's enough about Iconic Arcade now. We'll see. There is one other thing about that. Paul, you can correct me on this if I'm wrong. So I just want to bring up the last episode of the Arcade Insiders. And anyways, I didn't get a chance to watch it. I apologize. I've been busy trying to set up this whole Steve Sale fundraiser and with my life, which is crazy in December. December sucks. It's one of the worst times at work because that's when government says you need to renew all your contracts on like 5 days notice. So that's what I've been working on, contracts for government. So they did an episode last week. I read through the transcripts. Kevin, he's very outspoken. At one point he called me a shill. And then made comments about me not shilling for anybody anymore. I don't know what all of that was about. I'm not going to focus on any of the negativity stuff. But one thing they said they are shills. And I actually disagree with that. Like, I don't know. There's different meanings to it and stuff like that. But the shill, that definition I've always looked up is somebody in on the product. So I'm playing Red Dead Redemption right now on PlayStation 5, and you get to that section where you're with the snake oil salesman, and you play the guy that comes in that acts like the general consumer, and then he gets you to fake it because you're helping sell the product. I've always taken a shill like that, or someone at a carnival trying to sell you something. I've never taken a shill as someone who's just positive about a product or relaying information. Other people can change their opinions or have different definitions, whatever. I don't really care. I think the definition that people are using for shill here and them calling themselves shill, I think that's not fair. I would take this more as like an infomercial. I mean, it's the same as watching news on the shopping network. They're going to give you news on the product. And of course, there's an underlying idea that they're helping to move the products along. So I wouldn't call themselves shills. I would say it's more like an infomercial for Spreetail, and I think that's pretty fair. But anyways, something else came out about the Iconic pre-order date and when it's actually going to be delivered. And Paul, you can give me some clarification if you're here in the chat still, and you can tell me if I'm wrong or right. But the new date that these cabs are coming is going to be January 31st. That's the date that they're shipping. And there was a comment from you in the chat where I thought you responded to somebody and you said you think that's the day they're leaving China. So if that's the day they're leaving China, the finished product leaving China to come over here, I would love to know what the date people can expect to get them in their hands. Are they coming directly from China being, airlifted and then shipped out to customers? When can people expect to finally get them? Maybe it's not something you can answer in the chat, but maybe it's something to bring to your show this Thursday and have Kevin give a response to. So there you go. All right, guys, that's enough about Iconic Arcade. I think we've talked about them enough. I've browbeat them for their terrible communications enough. Let's talk about something a little bit more fun, and that is Unico. So Unico actually just put out a pretty big announcement. This came out Saturday. Actually, it was very cool. Unico actually gave me the video to share with you guys, which I'll show you in a second, but they wanted me to announce that it was coming out, make a video about it. I was a little tied up, so I didn't really have time. So I wanted to talk about it tonight and kind of catch up. So Unico have officially put up their pre-order for the Nova Blast Candy Cab U3 Raiden. So it's coming in at a price point of $1,399.99. I think the regular price for the Nova Blast is $1,199. So it's $200 more. It's currently $100 off with the save $100. Would typically be $300 more. So this is not going to be a normal sold item. This item is available for pre-order only for a limited time, is offered at a special early bird rate. That's your $100 off. First batch limited to 100 units. Estimated dispatch time for the first batch is going to be March 2026. Future batches are expected in May or June 2026. Your card will be charged at checkout to reserve your unit, so you're charged up front. The order contains both in-stock and pre-order items. In-stock items will be shipped first. So say, for example, you order some stools or something like that, you'll get them first. And anyways, I don't know why my last four of my credit card was up there. I'm screwed. Someone will take me out for that. But here's a little bit more information. Raiden Nova Blast. 7 legendary shooters. You get Raiden, Raiden Fighters, Raiden DX, Raiden 2, Raiden, I don't know how you say it, Raiden Fighters Jet, and Dark Mist. Like 19K Fox was giving Unico a bunch of not Unico, Iconic Arcade a bunch of shit about. Here they show the UI. The UI actually looks pretty good. I mean, it's clean, it's nice. Pretty straightforward, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. A little bit more information showing you the sides and all that stuff. I mean, it looks nice if you're into candy cabs, and especially if you're a Raiden fan. Well, Goofyfoot, you're not wrong. It's a shit show, and look at me. Look at me. I'm hideous. Jason likes the black cabinet, thinks it looks really good. There's some personal messages going on in the chat, so I'll let that go on. I won't bring that up on screen. Then you are getting official SamWow buttons and sticks here with your cabinet. You can take a look at it. They're giving you a lot of information. 26-inch 4x3 vertical screen. I'm very happy to say that I'm very soon going to be a proud owner of my own Unico 26-inch 4x3 monitor. I've got one coming to replace the CRT monitor in my big blue. Might not put it in right away, but I'm probably going to put it in right away. So, I've talked about this with Glenn's cab, with the Nova Blast. I've always wanted one of these 26-inch 4x3 monitors. So very excited. I've got one ordered, waiting patiently for it to come. Recalling the classic coin slot, this is one of the issues why it was taken off the site, why we weren't able to get it in Canada for a while. It does have a real coin door, which is really interesting. There's a closer look at your art package. So very, very cool. There's the size. You got a guy standing up at it. You don't stand up at a candy cab. I know 19K Fox mentioned that $1,700. We will talk about that in just a bit. You got to remember, this isn't your typical home arcade product. This is, in all intents and purposes, this is really a commercial arcade product that they're selling for at-home use. So, you get that $13.99 price point, then you get shipping involved, and it comes up to about $1,700. So it's a little rough, I understand. But where this gets interesting is the fact that you got to take into consideration this is the exact same Nova Blast that they were already selling at $1,199. The big difference between this one and that one is licensing. And we always take for granted how expensive licensing actually is. Like if a company has to pay $200,000 for a specific license, say they had to pay $200,000 for a specific license for the Raiden license, how did they get that money back? Obviously, they're already selling the Unico Nova Blast at the price they can afford at $1,199. How do you do it? You have to add on to that price. So for the people saying, why is this more expensive than the original Nova Blast? I think it should be pretty straightforward. There's only 100 of these units. So let's break out the calculators. Let me get my phone out for this. Here we go. Only 100 units times $300 extra. They paid $30,000 for the license. And that's how they're making the money back, is they're adding the extra 300,000. So I understand people being upset, but if you wanted a brain in your Nova Blast, if you wanted your Nova Blast branded and you wanted art on your Nova Blast, that's the offset. They had to pay $30,000, which is probably a combination of licensing, artwork, sort of stuff. That's where that extra price comes from. Now, me personally, I'm going to tell you, I'm not carry the one. Carry the one. Carry the one. There you go. I'm more excited about getting G.I. Joel's and Glenn's FU's cabs, who both send updates on orders regularly. Yes, thankfully they do. And the crazy thing is, G.I. Joel is just one person, but he takes in what he knows he can handle. He communicates regularly with the people that order his products. And most importantly, he's nice. He's a nice guy, and he appreciates your business. Not a dick. I don't know. 19K Fox is in the chat. Maybe he can help it out. I'll go back up and see if I can find the information about what the brain is. It's either a mini PC or a Pi is my guess. Fox, can you help me out? Do you know what the information is? I see more payment options, not more information. And maybe I just missed it, so I apologize. Maybe it's a bash box. No, I don't think it's a bash box. Is bash box still happening? I mean, that was a really cool idea for a product. I haven't seen any updates on it recently, though. Yeah, I don't see what the brain is. I don't think they see, it's unclear, but it's basically a module that plugs into a JAMA PCB. Oh, that's cool. Okay. Is 19K Fox excited for Star Wars in February 2027? I think you're talking about the movie coming back to theaters. Yeah. So, anyways, me personally, I'm not the biggest candy cab guy. Like I was interested mainly because of the screen, and I'm not familiar with branded candy cabs. That's outside my time in the arcades, my nostalgia. So I don't know if this product's necessarily for me. I'm still kind of interested in the original Unico Nova Blast. Very specifically, I want to go into it because there's only one I really like. I like this one here because this reminds me of all the Japanese candy cabs and like the Sega version Astro City. This is more familiar with that. The other one with the speakers on the side, like James Hates Everything has. I don't like that one. I love this one. So if I was ever going to get one, it's currently $100 off. I got to look at this for Canada. It's very expensive, but yeah, this is something I'm still interested in, believe it or not. This is something I it's one of those products that just keeps coming up my mind. I'm like, God damn, that's cool. That's really cool. So yeah, there you go. Anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys, on the Unico Nova Blast pre-order. I know it's a little bit more expensive than the other Nova Blast, but you got to take into consideration there's a brain in this one. There's licensed games. There's licensed art. There's a cost of licensing. And if it is, in fact, $30,000 and there's only 100 units being made, obviously that's where it's getting paid. I don't want to replace the marquee. I love the way this looks, James. I'm all in on this one. This might be something I get. I'm not joking. I'd be more interested in like a Raiden recreation, like 19K Fox. 19K Fox had that real Raiden in his house. Love to see that. Hey, Neo Severa, what's going on, man? Good to see you. So, anyways, I think this is really interesting. I think the Nova Blast is a really interesting product. I don't think the Raiden one is for me specifically, but I can totally understand Raiden fans wanting to get their hands on that with artwork. There is no other Raiden cab out there in the wild right now. If you want something that's Raiden branded, you're probably going to go with that. Me personally, I'm still looking at the original Nova Blast. I really, really like the original Nova Blast, even though I'm not a candy cab guy. It's so cool. I don't know what to say. JJ agrees. I agree, Michael. The U2 looks the best. I wrote them to ask about the U3, and they confirmed that you just unplug the connector for the Raiden box, and you can use other devices just like the U2. There you go. Raiden, if it was the U2 style, I'd be more interested. What if they around? They're not going to. If they put a Robotron in a candy cab, that's not going to do anything for me. Devastator Omega. I got to pay off my camera on PlayStation 5 Pro yet. It's not limited to 100 units, Mike. Now I'm confused, 19K Fox. Now I'm confused. First batch limited to 100 units. First batch limited to 100 units. So it's only the first batch. There will be more in the future. Sorry, 19K Fox. I'm going to tell you right now, the guy I sold my Frogger Arcade one up to currently has it listed on Marketplace, and he wants to buy my NBA Jam Shaq XL. So we're at an impasse because he only wants to pay so much, and I'd rather just keep it instead of selling it for a certain amount. I'll figure out room for it. But maybe there's a possibility of a trade. Maybe Frogger comes home. Who knows? Where is the Nova Pac-Man? was Pac-Man ever in a candy cab? I don't know about that. I'm sure someone put it in there. Frogger comes home. That terrible music, Vaseline filter, but I can play Frogger again and Time Pilot and Time Pilot 84. Let's go. Horrible shark fin cab with terrible art. All right, guys. So moving on from there, I did want to talk a little bit about this Star Wars thing. I am super excited for this. If you don't know, Disney recently announced they're doing another theatrical run of Star Wars, but the despecialized version. Now, if you're a big Star Wars fan, like myself, like my wife, there's been something that has bothered us for years, is that George Lucas did these remastered versions. And, at first we just thought it was going to be add some additional scenes, but he made some crucial changes, specifically one that I will never be okay with, and that was adding Hayden Christensen to the end of Return of the Jedi to replace the original actor who played Darth Vader. I cannot live with that choice. I hate watching the movie on Disney Plus. I hate watching the movie on the Blu-rays that we bought because of that. You can't watch it like it was originally shown in theaters, but Disney is going out there to try to get some goodwill back with I guess the Star Wars community, because they know how bastardized they've made the Star Wars product over the years, and they are re-releasing the original cut. No Hayden Christensen, no added extra features, no Han Greedo accidentally trying to shoot Han first or any of that bullshit. OG Star Wars is coming back. My hope is from this we'll also get 4K prints that we can buy and keep at our leisure in case Disney ever changed their mind about the despecialized versions. That would be the coolest shit in the entire world. We so free. Disney doesn't, and Star Wars doesn't. Their despecialized versions are sold from third parties. Yeah. So, anyways, very excited about that news. Star Wars fans rejoice. Finally, something to be excited about for the first time in a long time. Now, I got another couple things I wanted to share with you. So, If you guys haven't seen it yet, this is old news, but I wanted to share it anyways. Obviously, New Wave Toys finally have a product out there after a very long wait and several terrible circumstances. The LA wildfires, I mean, Shiloh's terrible accident, and all those pre orders you guys have out there. They finally have a product coming out. Unfortunately, it's not one of the pre orders, but the Golden Tee plug and play, TV plug and play, is currently available to buy from BJ's in the US. Unfortunately, not available anywhere I could find in Canada so far. And I did have my good buddy Rotundo Ritual Dello reach out to me, and he's like, "Man, if you need any help getting one, just let me know." And I was like, no, I'm going to try to find them, just because I know how much shipping from the US to Canada is. You can add another $130 US onto that shipping price to actually get that to me. But this is now currently available to buy, currently on sale, $25 off at BJ's, $199 if you guys are interested. So this is basically cutting out the middleman. You don't get your New Wave Toys, Golden Tee, 1/6 scale replica arcade, but you do get Glenn's deck, and you do get the game that you can play on your TV. So if that's what you're most focused on, you can go buy one of these today. I got notice today from New Wave Toys. They're actually going to send me out a review unit. So even though I don't live in the US, I don't have access to BJ's, I'm going to be able to check one of these out very soon. Very excited to see how these are. And this is an idea, a concept I've long since been interested in. When Arcade One Up brought up those terrible couchcades and even the decks with the projector cades, I was like, this is an amazing idea for a product to be able to play this game with a somewhat accurate control panel with the right controls on your TV. Was a good cost-saving step down from being able to sell 3/4 scale arcades or even countercades. So I think it's a great idea. Very happy to see these finally out. If anybody has already bought one, let me know in the comments what you think of it. I'm excited because the last time I had a Golden Tee, and unfortunately, was the Arcade One Up Golden Tee XL. The trackball on it was an absolute piece of shit. It made me hate playing Golden Tee. So I'm looking forward to this experience with the New Wave Toys plug and play product. Hopefully it's really cool. Yeah, since I've shaved off my beard, I have absolutely zero access to BJ's. There is nothing happening in the bedroom till this grows back. Trust me. Bobby says he doesn't think it's currently in stock. Yeah, it's sold out, delivery, free shipping, 3 to 5 business days. Might be sold out right now, but check your eligibility. It might be what? James, where'd you get this information? Not all the trackballs, not all the decks have Glenn's trackball in them. Where did you get that information from? That's not something I've heard. Make sure you look for a box with Glenn's logo if you want one of those. What? Where would Glenn's logo be? On what part of the box? I don't want one without Glenn's trackball. Any more pictures of the box here? From Glenn. Oh, wow. Well, that's a bummer. It's like Arcade One Up selling Mortal Kombat cabs, and some of them have TN monitors, some of them have IPS monitors, and it's like a surprise package. Find out if your product's going to be good or not good. Yeah, that's a very strange move on their part to cut out Glenn's trackball and only use it on some. Maybe that has to do with availability of parts, but really strange idea. Where would it be on the box? Yes, Satoshi Matrix, I did talk about it, so I'm very sorry. All units at BJ's should have GRS. That's good. Oh, P-dubs. Weird. I don't see anything GRS on the pictures on the box. That's as much. It's on one side. Well, it's not on this side. Let's go back. Is that the same side? Dongle. Always makes me laugh. What's happening? Perfect. P-dubs, I'm going to lose my shit at you, buddy. How the fuck much? Like, that's as much as it'll let me zoom, buddy. I don't see anything on the side of the box here. Maybe it's not on the zoom in on the front of the box. I did. I don't see anything about Golden Tea there. And James said it was on. Like, this is it. This is as much as it'll let me zoom in from the BPR website. Chaotic says, P-dubs, it won't. Jeez Louise. I don't. Oh, there it is. Arcade accurate GRS trackball. Thank you, P-dubs. If you call me a clown again, I'm going to fucking lose it at you. Yes, I see it now. Thank you very much. No, it won't let me do it. No image bigger. I am that perfect storm. Anyways, guys, so that's where it should be on the box. You can take a look for yourself when you're going to buy them. Arcade accurate GRS trackball. If it doesn't have one, won't be on the front of the box. Anyways, enough of that. If I get any more complaints, I'm going to lose my shit. Another little bit of interesting gaming news I wanted to talk about. Brian, Proto Dude, put this up on Twitter earlier. I think this has been going around a little bit. Capcom to revitalize Mega Man, Ace Attorney, and Devil May Cry. Yes, I've lost my beard and my eyesight, P-dubs, apparently. I'm not doing okay here, man. I'm tired. I'm beardless. Everything is itchy. That's not the only tab Mike had open called BJ. I've heard that. Neo Severa remasters, yay. So that's what I wanted to talk about. I wouldn't get too excited about this news. Capcom to revitalize Mega Man, Ace Attorney, and Devil May Cry. I don't give a shit about Ace Attorney. I know everybody loves it. Mega Man, I'm really excited about, but I don't have a lot of hope for new Mega Man games. Could we see like remasters of like the original NES Mega Mans or new collections? Possibly, but I think all of us kind of liked Mega Man 11. That was done pretty good. More of that, or even more Mega Man 9 and 10. They were really good too. So, I don't know what is going on here with Capcom. We've been getting remasters of the Resident Evil series. Those have been pretty good. I heard there's a remaster coming for Resident Evil Code Veronica, which I'm really excited about. I don't know what they could do with Mega Man. Hopefully this is good news. We'll wait and see. I don't know if there's going to be new projects from some of these older titles. They've tried for years to turn Mega Man into a different style game, like a 3D style game. It's never worked. It only works in the 2D form factor. Just make more really good 2D games. That's what I'd like to see. Then, of course, we got this little bit of news today, which has got everybody pissed off, but this is one of the products I'm still interested in and looking forward to in 2026. I'm not getting one right now. Again, I got stuff to pay off first, but the Analogue 3D. And today, literally just like a week and a half, 2 weeks after people finally got their original Analogue consoles, they already released Funtastic editions. Now, this is Analogue to a T. Anybody who's bought an Analogue Pocket knows they released hundreds of different versions of the Analogue Pocket. There was so many colors, it wasn't even, sensible by the time it was done. There's people with like 10 different Analogue Pockets. And after I blew out my dock trying to connect a light to it the other day, I can see why you would probably want to buy more than one dock. Anyways, the timing on this sucks, and a lot of people are quoting greed from Analogue. Now, this is a company I really want to support. I love what they do. Nobody else is really doing this. I know Mod Retro is doing their own N64 right now, but this was a very cool product. The timing on this, unfortunately, does lead into that whole side. It kind of sucks. What you do have options on now, if you didn't want the black or the white analog 3D, you can get a gold one, you can get a clear one, you can kind of get this ice one, you can get a green one. Ice blue, purple. I've never seen like a pink one and an orange one. Now, this was something that the N64 was known for doing. I owned an ice blue one. I also had a atomic purple one that I actually bought for my brother, so he would stay the fuck out of my room and play his own N64. So, I mean, this is something they're just recreating what the Nintendo 64 did itself. I don't think it's such a bad deal, but it feels like the timing is a little bit off, little bit of a cash grab, because also these are going to be available December 10th, 8 a.m. Pacific time, and at a higher price of $300. So if you go down, let me see if I can pull this up. It'll let me go into it. So you've got the Funtastic limited edition Jungle, like the Jungle N64, the Donkey Kong one they sold. So you got all kinds of different copies. They're also going to be selling different 8-bit-do 3D controllers to go along with it. They're going to be $45. Really like 8-bit-do. That's what I buy. I don't usually buy this, though. I usually buy the controllers that match the originals. That's what I've always been focused on. But even though this is going to be $299, there still is opportunity on December 10th to buy the originals at the low price, not so much, of $269.99. So even though $300 is what the Funtastics are going to be, you can still buy the original for $269.99. I'm okay with that. So yeah, I still want an original black one. The rumors are circulating right now that unlike other analog products, these aren't going to be able to be cracked. You're going to actually have to either get a EverDrive to play N64 games on it if you want to play ROMs, or use the real carts. And I'm fine with that too. I mean, there's only 300, roughly around 300 N64 games, roughly only around 40 are good. So it's not a huge collection to go back and get. I will get one of these at some point. I'm just not in a rush right now because I have other things I have to buy. So this is something I'm looking at for 2026. And then last but not least, I did want to bring up the Steam Machine. The reason I want to talk about the Steam Machine tonight is because it was very big news when it was first announced, of course. But since it's been announced, several different things have changed in the gaming world. I know a lot of my friends, hardcore Xbox gamers, and after the price increase that was announced for Xbox, they are kind of turned off Xbox, with many lifelong Xbox gamers canceling Game Pass for the very first time. And then I talk to them and I say, you cancel Game Pass, what are you going to do going forward? And they're like, F it, I'm done with Xbox. I'm going all in on the Steam Machine, and I'm just going to buy my games on Steam going forward. And it brings up a really, I love this. It's the exact same thing I ever seen in GameCube, 100%. But here's the thing. I love the idea of being able to play Steam games on my modern television. I've done it with my Steam Deck and the dock for a long time. But of course, the Steam Deck and the dock, the performance is kind of shitty for playing like more modern games. I usually only play like collections. I played the Castlevania Dominus Collection and the Castlevania Advanced Collection on my TV through my Steam Deck. That was how I chose to play it. That's the rumor. Half-Life 3 launch title. But this one is promising performance of 4K, 120 frames per second. This is definitely not going to be the same experience. So the question is, do we need another console? Let's go back, take a look at the Steam library. So you can bring your Steam library from your PC. If you already have a really good PC, you probably don't need this. But if you want to play on that TV, get that couch gaming in, this is probably the best way to do it. So here we go. It's got Steam OS. It's going to be available on PCs eventually, but not right away. It's got a small form factor, cool and quiet, I/O for days. 4K gaming at 60 frames per second, not 120 FSR, thanks to a discrete semi-custom storage. So you're going to get a 512 gigabyte and 2 terabyte modern version. Connectivity, power, no giant bricks, Steam Machines, power supplies built right in. So it's going to be a pretty good looking, simple device. And it's basically taking what the Steam Deck does so well and provide it for home gaming. There's an LED strip, y'all. That's one of the things people are excited about, customizable LED strip. And of course, this faceplate can be changed. You can get different things off. But like Jason says, and this is what kind of scared me off about it, was it all depends on price. And this is where it got interesting because, of course, when I first saw it, I was very interested. Yeah, sure. I have got a fourth HDMI switch on my TV. I can plug something else in. I'd love to be able to take my Steam games away from the PC, play them couch co-op or whatever. So that seemed like something I'd be willing to do. But Linus Tech Tips did a video where he warned people, obviously this was going to be priced very expensive, kind of like a gaming laptop or, gaming PC, because the reason he gave was they don't want companies going out and buying something that, Steam has really cost them $700, but they're selling for $499 to get entry point into the market, and then have companies buy them up because they are real full-on laptops or PCs, right? So Linus said, expect these to be priced like a gaming PC, and then the internet went nuts, expecting it to be very high priced. Well, we do have a little bit more information coming from this page right here. Indie 100 Steam Machine cost revealed, and it's not near what you think. So they actually bring up the price point to be around $699. And the interesting thing about this is it's right along the lines of what I always expected this machine to cost. So the Steam Machine is going to be $699, which I think the price might be a little bit off, but I expect it to be $699 for the lower tiered version. That's the 512 gigabyte. I expect the 2 terabyte version to be more around that $1,000 mark. The benchmark I think Steam will use for selling this device, and this is intentional to go against competition, is they're going to sell it for around the same price that the Xbox ROG Ally X sold for. So, I mean, we're all so used to paying like $500-$600 for a console. Are you willing to go up to get like a high-level gaming PC? I say high level, but I don't really mean high level. Will this really replace Xbox for a lot of people that are upset about the Game Pass price increase? Is this something you're interested in? Right now, because nothing else is really announced, this is it. This is number one on my list of things I'm interested in and following. So, yeah, $699 USD, it looks like. Xbox ROG has a screen. This needs to be no higher than $649. I think it should be even cheaper, but that's just my opinion. Already have a beefy PC, but if the OS is simple to use, it's a buy. Yeah. Roughly 23% of Steam Deck users do not own a gaming PC. 77% of console gamers do not own a gaming PC. So there you go. Micro SD is going to be an awful modern game storage. Hopefully you can plug in an external hard drive for more storage. Being able to add an SSD like PS5 would have been even better. I want a compact PC. I think the 2 terabyte edition will be $899 with controller. Chaotic says, and Chaotic is one of those guys that was like, I'm done with Xbox, lifelong Xbox gamer. I'm moving to the Steam Machine. Not everybody wants a PC connected to their TV, Vito. I don't think they're trying to be anybody. I don't even think they're taking into consideration what the price point is on other consoles. I think Steam are trying to operate like Apple. We're Steam. People are going to buy it anyways. And with their success with the Steam Deck so far, really being an underpowered device compared to so many other things, but with its even easy use, comfort, and all that stuff, that's what they're relying on. People don't want that Windows shite. Believe me, I don't disagree with you, Neo Severa. It's the one drawback from my Xbox ROG Ally X. I wanted to just go into it and just play it. But the Windows side, all the updates, bullshit, everything you got to do, kind of ruins the experience for me at times. I'm not going to lie about that. Yeah, you're not wrong, Mike of all trades. Unfortunately, that's what we're dealing with. RAM prices, all that shit. It's cheaper to buy a pre-built PC than it is to build your own at this point. Yes, that's what I want, and that's why this will do well. Josh, I can't start over. I've been going for an hour and 8 minutes already. So the reason why I wanted to bring this up and talk about the Steam Machine a little bit is honestly, I talked about it a little last night on my stream, and it's kind of the way I've been feeling recently. I've been doing this stuff for a very long time, and I love arcades. I just bought that big blue, fucking around with that, and getting it up and running, looking at different options for running a brain in it, going out and getting that Marvel versus Capcom PCB, looking at maybe getting a Mistercade to go into it, looking at changing out the screen for the Unico monitor. That's been all great, and I love home arcade, but the reality is nobody's really coming out with anything that's gripping me. There's nothing I'm excited about. I mean, I've seen what's available right now. I mean, for next year, we know that Wonderland's coming out. That's not something I'm interested in. We know that Iconic Arcade's finally going to get delivered in January. Hopefully, we get an official date soon. Double Dragon's coming out, which I am kind of interested in, but depends on the price. Nostalgia, still there is a price for that. I mean, $6.99 US, $9.99 Canadian. And if the price is going to go up higher, that might not be something I'm willing to jump on. So then, of course, Basic Fun, we don't know what they're doing next year. Hopefully it's something cool. But right now, I'm really struggling to find anything to be excited about in home arcade. And not to mention, I've got a full arcade downstairs. I had a full arcade before I bought the Big Blue. I had a full arcade before Basic Fun sent me my Star Wars. And I haven't sold shit. So now I have an even fuller arcade because I made room for 2 new cabs. So it's really cramped down there. In order for me to take something on, now not only do I have to get rid of something, I actually have to get rid of more than just something to fit something in. So I'm kind of struggling with excitement for home arcade right now. Hopefully the new year hits, CS announcement happened, and I'm blown away and I'm right back in. But right now, my focus has been more on modern gaming and shit like this. Xbox ROG Ally X captured my attention. I bought that right away. Steam Machine, this is what I'm interested in now. And now it's up to the home arcade communities. If you don't want to lose people like me, that at one point was easily your biggest fanboy, bought everything that came out, do better, do more exciting stuff, so I'm not more inclined to spend my money elsewhere. And you will find there's many other people that are in the same shoes as me. They want to support you. They want to keep buying home arcade products, but you have to give us reason to do so. Otherwise, we're going to spend our money elsewhere. I 100% don't need Slimcades. I know, Plastique, this fake. So anyways, guys, that's all I got for you tonight, including yesterday. I think I streamed for a total of 7 hours and now 12 minutes. I think that's enough out of my mouth. Hopefully the stuff that I gave you tonight was interesting, fun, all that shit. Hopefully if a company's offended by what I said, don't look at just what I said as an attack. Look at what I said as constructive criticism and use it to your advantage to make your company better. And to anybody else that was offended, I'm sorry. I'm just here for my channel. I'm not here for your channels. If you're upset about something I did, I don't mean to upset you. I just don't think about you. I'm focused on myself. Anyways, guys, I'm up now. I'm trying to get through Marvel Cosmic Invasion before bed. I don't know if that's going to happen because I got a pretty early day tomorrow with meetings. So I'll say good night tonight. Everybody, enjoy the rest of your Monday night. And we'll see you a little later this week with a couple more videos. If not, we'll see you Friday for Super Game Room Dudes, our last episode of the year before the holidays hit. Thank you all very much for watching. This is Michael B. the Game Genie. I'll talk to you next time. Good night, guys. Sorry about the choppiness. Sorry, guys, I forgot the poll. I always do this, but I remember just in time before I shut it down. So 113 votes to who and where should home arcade companies relay information. And the correct answer, according to those of you who watch the show, is a mix of all the above at 55%. General consumer via website, social media came in at a very strong second, 30%. YouTubers, influencers to relay, 11%. And to the distributor, seller to relay, dead last at 4%. So take those numbers into consideration when you as companies choose what's most important regarding your announcements and your product information. Good night, everybody.